Tonight, we've got an episode focusing strictly on the basketball teams here on campus. Who should take the last shot in a close game for the women's team? And why have the newcomers on the men's team been so successful in the early part of the season? All this and more next on Bobcat Breakdown. Welcome to the latest episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Beckett Calkins and I'll be your host for the evening. We've got men's basketball beat reporter and Division I athlete Keith Savage alongside me, and Ben Rickovicius also on desk tonight. Let's have some fun tonight, guys, but first, how we feeling, Keith?
I'm feeling great. I had last time on here I was talking about field talking, and I ended up practicing. Maybe it'll be a men's basketball, women's basketball playing next, but I'm ready to beat Ben in a debate about the sport.
Well, I'm not sure about that, Keith. I'm very excited to be on desk tonight. I'm not a D1 athlete just yet like yourself, but hey, everybody's got to have goals, right?
It's true.
All right, we'll jump right into the first question. The women's basketball team defeated St. Francis Brooklyn by a final score of 49-45 on Sunday. Why was the game so close despite the Bobcats being favored by a large margin in this game? Keith, we'll start with you.
The offense just wasn't great overall, especially in the first half. First quarter was 2 for 15 and 0 for 10 from shots inside the three-pointer. You can't be doing that and expect to compete against some of the best teams in the MAC. You play a team that's not the greatest, and you win this game. But overall, 3 for 12 in the second, too, you can't. Finish the game shooting 30% in the field. That's bad. You have to up that game up if you want to win, because the MAC is coming soon. It's coming soon, and you have to make these shots. You don't have any Mackenzie Dewey. We'll talk more about her later. The players step up. Corteria Hayward's been phenomenal. But overall, you have to drain your shots. If you want to win this game, it's that simple. You can't be shooting 30%. 40% is where you want to at least aim for. But overall, Ben, what do you think?
Well, yeah, Keith, I love your takes here early on about that first half. It was pretty atrocious. One thing that kind of struck me right off the bat was Michaela Morris. She shot 1 for 11 from the field. And obviously, right now, she's not the biggest focus for the offense. And obviously, there was Sarah Bendoma, number 33 in that game, who had 13 rebounds and 4 blocks, who got in her way a little bit. But obviously, if Morris's shots aren't falling, you got to find somebody else. And, I mean, when she's hot, that offense in the paint, it just adds a whole nother dimension to this team's attack. And obviously, she was just not feeling it there. Although the defense in the second half got better. And they had a season-high 12 steals and 9 blocks, and including Baskerville's 5 blocks. So overall, the defense got better in that second half, but the first half was on all levels pretty bad.
Yeah, going back to that, Morris struggled 1 of 11, but Mary Baskerville didn't play that much. She's been phenomenal soon. Her minutes could be going up. She only played 10 minutes, but overall, she's been great the whole year. Michaela Morris continues her struggles. She could be losing some minutes to. She was a 2019 Big East Rookie of the Year. That's a point scorer.
Yeah.
She's a great player. I think she needs more minutes overall because she's elite.
Oh, she was great defensively in that game. And I mean, Morris has had some really good games where she's putting up double-digit points, but if that's not happening anymore, I agree, Baskerville could get some really big minutes.
All right, good argument there on the first one. You guys mostly agreeing with each other. Sticking to the topic of close games, though, now. When it comes down to clutch time, who should have the ball in their hands when the Bobcats need to get a bucket? Ben, begin us.
Well, I think this is no debate. Corteria Hayward is that person right now for the Bobcats. She's got to be the best player currently playing on this team. She's shooting 449, 318, and 636 all around. She's got the ability to post up smaller defenders and have a great paint attack. She's a 3-level scorer. She can hit the 3-ball. She's averaging almost 12 points per game as the leading scorer. And the last 3 minutes of St. Francis, she was really good. She was 2 for 4 from the field overall. She had 2 made layups in those last 3 minutes and a missed layup and a missed mid-ranger. So I think she's the one at the end of the day. Right now on this team, if everything stays the same, who's got to have the ball in her hands?
Ben, let me educate you. You're a first year here. You haven't seen the star Mackenzie Dewey. Hopefully she's back soon for the MAC play. But overall, I want her taking a shot.
Okay.
Mackenzie Dewey, when she comes back, is the star of this team. She's the best player. 2 years ago, MAC Player of the Year. Overall, you can't stop her. If I want anybody to shoot that shot, it's Mackenzie Dewey. Overall, she's always going to get you a clutch shot going. The team performs better with her. It's just Cortia Hayward's a solid option. When Deweese is injured, I'm going Hayward. But with a healthy Deweese, you have to give her the ball. But that's what I think.
Well, to be honest, we don't know when Deweese is coming back.
That's true.
If she doesn't come back for a while, what is the team supposed to do? Just keep holding on for faith that she's going to come back and be this elite basketball player like she was before? I think you've just got to trust Haywood right now. And obviously, if Deweese comes back, I think she's got a little proving to do that she's back from this injury and she's going to play well. But right now, I think Haywood is your option. You want to make her feel like she is the star of this basketball team because right now, without Deweese, she is the star of this basketball team.
Hayward should get that final shot.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we have to give her the confidence to take that shot. And then if Deweese continues to prove otherwise, then maybe we look in that direction.
Yeah, I think it's just overall, I agree with right now Haywood, but Deweese, maybe at the first, second games, you still go Haywood. But after that, Deweese, she has that dog in her. She's unstoppable. She's always going to be
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Haywood continues to be that top option for the Bobcats when Deweese comes back. I really wouldn't.
That'd be tough, but hey, you're going to have to watch Mackenzie Deweese. You'll be entertained.
I will watch
You'll see she can do it all. Yeah. Anything you want, offense, defense. I think she averaged 3 steals a game last year. Wow. So it's phenomenal overall. One of the best rebounding team at 5'9". Just give her the ball. It's going to be something great.
Well, sounds like we're all looking forward to the season debut of Mackenzie Deweese at some point. But first, let's head up to the M&T Bank Arena as Connor Core is alongside women's basketball player Jackie Grisdale. Hit it.
Thanks, guys. We're here with sophomore guard Jackie Grisdale. So, Jackie, you're in your second year this time. Can you kind of take me through what the llast year and a half been as a Division I college basketball player?
It's been a great experience so far to start. Quinnipiac is a great location, great coaches, great teammates, great education, and I really love it. Basketball-wise, it's been a little bit of an adjustment coming from high school ball to college ball, but I think the effort that we put in as a team to just prepare and practice makes that transition a lot easier. So it's really been a great transition so far.
Yeah, now you talked about effort. You came on as a walk-on this year, and this past off-season, on your birthday, you got the offer of being a full scholarship. Kind of take me through that experience and that kind of what that meant to you to finally, after all that hard work, lead up to a full scholarship on the team.
Yeah, I kind of like the underdog mentality. So coming in last year, there weren't really expectations for me necessarily, except a lot of the ones that I put on myself. So I really use that to motivate myself and just try to raise myself to the level of my teammates around me. They've been great motivators to propel me to just get better at everything every day. Coach always says get 1% better. So I think that's a mindset that I really took to heart and try to put in an effort every day.
Yeah. Now like we talked about, you being a walk-on, kind of playing in 27 games last year. Now these past 7 games, you started every single one so far. Can you kind of talk about the adjustment from being kind of a bench player to kind of being in a starting lineup every game this season so far?
I really think I just took it as whatever the team was going to need. That's how I was going to step in and try to help us. So whether that means coming off the bench and being a 6th player or getting the opportunity to start, the mindset of just going out to taking the floor to be my best each time, that stays true no matter what. And I think that's something that our team really takes to heart as well. We trust each other. As soon as someone comes on, there's no break in the action, and we just have that steadiness the whole time.
Yeah, now it's kind of something that I've noticed as well. It's kind of a like-for-like swap between you and now graduate student Mackenzie Deweese. Can you kind of talk about how being a younger player, how you've kind of used her as kind of another role model on the court to kind of get you through these past few seasons?
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I said earlier that Coach is one of my biggest role models. Mac is right up there with her. She's an excellent person, both on and off the court, and there's so much to learn from her. She is such an amazing athlete. She makes my jaw drop so often just with the amazing plays she makes. So I really think just trying to learn from her and see how she is everywhere on the floor. So really just trying to take a page from her book and just impact the game in as many ways as possible.
Yeah, so thank you for your time, Jackie. Guys, we'll send it back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Connor and Jackie. As Mackenzie Deweese has been out this season and Jackie Grisdale has stepped up, how do you think her role is going to change when Deweese returns? Keith, start with you.
So to start off, I think Grisdale's going to take more of the 6th man role coming off the bench. But I think it's going to change after a few. I think she's going to take that starting role over Rose Cavalier at some point in the year. Because Rose Cavalier has been somewhat struggling this year, only shooting 35%. Jackie Grisdale is a phenomenal player. I'm going to go as far as saying in the future, Grisdale will be an all-MAC player. It's just amazing story as a former walk-on. I think she's going to be great, but I think at some point, we'll see both of these star players together, both 5'9", smaller guards. But I could see them playing together. But Grisdale is going to be great. But overall, I think she's going to come off the bench. But at some point in the year, she's going to go into starting 5 and maybe have a little 50-50 chance with Rose Cavalier. But what do you think, Ben?
I definitely agree with the fact that we're going to see minutes where they're both getting time. And I think in that case, Deweese becomes the primary ball handler and does the playmaking for this offense. I think that Grisdale becomes more of a corner shooter where she's getting like reps, but it's coming from Deweese. Obviously, Deweese shot 444, 296, and 709 in 2021. She was a fantastic player, led the team in points. And obviously, I think she's going to come back and do much more of that. But I'm not sure if Grisdale's going to get that starting job right away. She could definitely contend for it. But I definitely think we're going to see minutes where both of them are on the court, and we're going to see what kind of an impact Deweese can have. And maybe we see more points coming from Grisdale out of Deweese's arrival.
Yeah, coming back to Grisdale three-point shoot. She's only 6 for 24 this season, but she's a young player. You got to keep letting her shoot that ball. She's great. She's 16 for 25 inside the three-pointer. But I say you let her keep shooting. It's half her shots. She's going to pick up at some point. If you have Mackenzie Deweese getting the open, there's going to be double teams with Deweese when she goes in, and you still got great scorers and Michaela Morris. But overall, you kick it out in the corner, I think. Like you said, I think overall, she's going to be an amazing player in this team.
I think the addition with both of them on the court at the same time could help them go deep in this MAC championship run that they're trying to go on here.
Maybe MAC championship, let's see.
Well, it's time to take our first break of the night, but don't go anywhere as we switch benches and talk all things men's basketball. We'll be right back.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Welcome back. It's time to play a quick game of true or false on the men's team. So, starting off, true or false? The Bobcats' bench production will be the key to success in MAC play. Keith, let's get us started.
I'm going to go false. The bench is great, but overall, it's going to come down to, can this team be consistent? There's a lot of scorers in this team. 4 of them average over double-digit, and Tyrese Williams can get it going at any time. But Belang, Desi Jones, Louis Coride, Ike Nweke, all solid scorers. But a lot of times they can't get it together. Last game, it was Matt Belang who struggled. He was 1 for 5. He's your first team preseason All-MAC. You can't be struggling. But the game before that, he also struggled. Him, Coride, and Nweke all shot at least 10 times, and they all shot below 30 shots before Hofstra. If most of these guys can be great when it comes to MAC play, overall, I believe in them. But it's not going to come completely down to the bench, because still, Savion Lewis been struggling, 25%. I don't know how J.J. Rignett's role is going to be based on how the newcomers are. We'll talk about Nweke and Antonio later, but overall, it's going to be interesting. But what do you think?
Well, for this one, I'm going to have to say true. I'm going with true here. The bench is going to have a bigger impact with Mac's success here for this team, and I'll tell you why. Because the guys are coming off this bench, and they're making massive contributions. Sevion Lewis and Louis Courtwright are averaging over 3 assists per game, and that leads the team. Tyrese Williams has been a great scorer off the bench. In the last game, he was just shooting that 3 ball. I think he had like at least 4 of them in that second half. And so far, he's had double digits in back-to-back games, shooting 7 for 14 from the 3 this season. Guys like that who are going to come off the bench, give you good quality minutes and scoring, especially when those starters are starting kind of cold. You need that. You really need that because the starters are going to find their strides eventually. The problem is what really defines success on a championship run is the bench. Because if you don't have a good bench, you're not going anywhere.
I think the main part is going to be Matt Ballon.
Sure.
He's supposed to be your top scorer, and he is your top scorer right now, but he's not doing that great. He's been inconsistent, 43%, 35% from the 3, but overall, you have to step your game up. But the bench, too, Louis Courtwright, inconsistent 40%. We can talk about his free throws later, 48%. You have to step that up, missing 2 crucial free throws. Courtwright and Williams are going to be huge players. Williams, mainly a sharpshooter. He's going to be shooting the 3s. When he's on like he was last game. But overall, I think it's going to come down to mainly Blanc, Nweke, Otieno, Jones. Jones, I can trust being consistent all the time. But my big guy is Blanc. Blanc has to be consistent. That's going to be the guy who you want. And Nweke, you got to make your shots. Another guy, free throws. We'll talk more about that later. But overall, that's what the main thing has to be in the team. Can Matt Blanc and Ike Nweke be on?
Yeah, I would agree with that, yep.
I agree with you saying Blanc has to be more, consistent on that, Keith. But I'm going to take Ben's side on the majority of the question on that one. But the newcomers, Nweke and Otieno, we're going to talk about them now. They've been successful early on this year, mainly because of Quinnipiac's culture. True or false, Ben? What do you think?
Well, for this one, I'm also going true because I think the culture here with those 2 players has been fantastic. So far, both coming from outside places, and they've been fantastic. Nweke averaging 10-7, and Otieno is averaging 7-7. Both of these players are the leading rebounders for the team with 68 and 65. And they have 40% of the team's rebounds combined, which is massive. And rebounding is critical in trying to win a championship. At the end of the day, for me, it comes down to free throws and rebounds, and these guys are getting it done on the boards. And I think that's a massive part to their team chemistry, and they're starting to get better defensively. Listen, they've kind of been, they're finding their footing defensively with this team and how they're going to fit in the scheme, but I think you can see both of these guys become massive shot blockers potentially as the season continues to go on, and I think they will be able to find that defensive footing thanks to the Bobcat culture here.
I'm going to go false, but it's a different reason why is.
Sure.
What was the Quinnipiac culture prior? They were losing. They haven't been amazing the last few years. They have been struggling almost every time. Those 2 guys can change the culture. Both amazing big men. But overall, there has been no Quinnipiac culture. You finished the regular season with the worst record. You won some games in the MAC tournament. But overall, you haven't been a good team the past few years. This year, you have high hopes. You lost tonight. It was one of the worst teams in the conference. You can't be doing that. But these 2 can change the culture. Ike Nweke, phenomenal. Paul Otieno, phenomenal. Nweke is not much of a shot block. It's going to more on Paul's side. But overall, Paul's the 5, Nweke's the 4. Amazing duo. But my main thing is there's no culture in this team.
Well, I'm arguing with that. I think that's false. I think there is a little bit of culture because look at that run they had last year. Look at that run they had last year. They got all the way to 1 game away from going to the NCAA tournament. And hey, say, they didn't have their successes in the regular season, but they started building that culture on their playoff run. And I think some part of that culture has stayed. Obviously, this team looks a lot better. They don't look like the team from the regular season last year, and I think they've developed this culture, and I think Nweke and Otieno are fitting that perfectly.
How are you going to build the culture if you don't have any first years? You don't have a single first year on this roster.
There's time for that.
You need a first year to at least say, hey, let's guide you in the right direction. You don't have any of that on your team. Next year we have some, but you need at least some first years to say, hey, you're the future of this team. Coach Baker doesn't leave, he's going all in because he knows if he struggles, he's out of there. He's not going to be back at Quinnipiac if he struggles. A culture needs to get built, and those 2 guys could do it. Ike's your last year, but Paul Otieno, I want to say he has 2-3 years left as a junior. Overall, Those two guys can build a culture, but overall, there's no culture at this team, and maybe these guys can be the reason why Quinnipiac starts winning.
Well, I'd argue that you don't have to be a first year to impact the future of this team. A sophomore, junior. I think at the end of the day, just because they don't have first years on the roster doesn't mean that their future is unstable. I think showing success on this level and winning basketball games excites potential recruits, and there's your future culture enough.
Yeah, they got a few solid guys for next, but overall, you have to just build the culture with this team that's just successful. Why do people want to come to the school when it's not successful? I'd rather go, you lose to Niagara. How you lose to Niagara? Just stop Noah Thomason. That's all you got to do. Like, come on, are you kidding me? Let's build a culture here.
All right, Keith, well, we're going to stick with that big loss to Niagara. And in that 64-60 loss on Sunday, the Bobcats shot just 6 for 15 from the free throw line, including 2 key misses late in the second half by Louis Courtright, which you mentioned. So, true or false, free throws are the biggest Bobcats' weakness right now. Keith, I know you want to talk about this. We'll begin with you.
You know how many teams are as bad as them? They're 8th worst in the nation in Division I.
Yeah.
It has been terrible. Out of the teams that shoot over 155 free throws, you know how many teams are better than them? Every team in the NCAA that shot over how many? There's not a single team that is worse than them. Come on, Ike Nowacki, 11 for 33. He's phenomenal. I've got to say true. But overall, Louis Courtright, 13 for 29. Riggins, 10 for 20. Taimu Chenery, 4 for 10. Paul Tieno has stepped up free throw shooting. At Kilgore College, he wasn't the best, but he's 12 for 17 this year. I've been impressed by him. But you need to make your free throws. You shoot at 59%. Yeah. Are you kidding me? How are you going to win games against Rick Pitino's Iona? He's going to smoke you guys if you're shooting free throws like that. Like, that's a joke. Coach Dunleavy told us after the game, like, they're doing about the same thing every practice. You need to focus. Bring in Rick Barry. Maybe do some grain shots for free throws. Yeah. Something has to change. Ike Nowacki is an amazing player. Courtright's an amazing player. But if they can't shoot free throws, they can't be in here at clutch times because it's going to be hack-a-shack the main time. You need to be making free throws. It is that simple. 59%? Are you kidding me right now? 9 games through? Oh, my God. It's crazy.
Well, you know what, Keith? I share your pain. It is a green sweep because free throws is a massive issue for this team, and it is by far the #1 issue. I don't know what's going on. I really don't, but I think we need more effort on those free throws. I don't know if it's more reps. I don't know if it's just a different approach. I mean, hey, Rick Barry, maybe that works for them. At the end of the day, though, they're averaging around 11 free throws per game, and the fact that they're not making more than half of those is disgusting. And especially in late game situations where you look at that Niagara game, they could have tied it if Courtright made his free throws right there, and it's just terrible because you don't have those situations that this team needs to ride that success and win close games if you can't make your free throws.
If you take out Tyrese Williams from the last game, was 5 for 5 from the line. They were 1 for 10. It's 10%. How are you going to do that? You can't win games like that. It's a joke. You need to make your free throws. It has to be more of a focus in practice. Everything else has been great. 3-point defense, phenomenal. They've been one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the MAC. It's just the free throws. That's the main thing. You aren't going to be able to compete with these top teams like I said earlier. I believe in this team. Like, this team is going to be one of the top in the MAC. But if they don't improve their free throws, how are you going to be able to? Because when that clutch time comes down, let me foul on the Weke. Let me foul with Courtright. It's like, you can't be doing that because people are going to start doing hack-a-shack, and that's going to kill them.
You're going to lose minutes if you're not hitting your free throws. I can tell you that.
I agree.
Yeah, Bobcats especially need to hit those down the stretch. That just completely changes the outlook of the game. But it's time for our last question of the night. What is your letter grade for both basketball performances this academic success semester as it comes to a close? Keith.
I'll start it, but overall, I give them a B. This team has still been really good. If they beat Niagara by a good amount, I probably would have gave them an A. But overall, I start them out with a B because it's just like on and off right here. Niagara, you're better than that team. You're talented than that team. One of the biggest things is you can't stop a star guy on a team. Noah Thomason had 24 points for Niagara. He was going off in the second half. You need to focus on being able to stop those top guys. The game before they lost to Hofstra was Aaron Estrada, who scored 29 for them. You were down 17, you came back, lost by a few points. But you need to focus on stopping those top guys. And they were not able to do that at all the last 2 games. But I believe in this team. I'm going to say how it's going to roll in the MAC tournament. They're either going to lose their first game or they're going to make it to the championship. As I said, I'm a firm believer in this team, but it's going to go 2 ways. It's going to be an inconsistent team. Sometimes they're going to lose to some of the bad teams like Niagara. Maybe they're going to beat a team like Iona. But overall, this team's going to be inconsistent. It's either going to be losing the whatever first game they play, first round, or they're going to make the championship and lose to Iona.
Yeah, I have to agree with your rating for men's. I went with a B as well, and it would have been an A if we didn't see that last loss to Niagara. The free throws really stuck in my head right there. Great start to the season, though, for them because they had a 7-0 start beating teams like Dartmouth, CCSU, Montana State. And yes, this schedule isn't extremely challenging, but just winning games and building chemistry early on is massive. And the defense has been great. They're averaging 7 steals per game, so I've been really impressed with their start. I think there's room to grow, and I think this team has the eyes and the shot to make a championship game here.
All right, it's time for our final break of the night. Stick with us for the QVSN Call of the Week and Final Roars when we come back.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to the home stretch of Bobcat Breakdown. We'll jump right back into it with the QVSN Call of the Week. Let's take a listen to Connor Core and Joey O'Donoghue's call of the women's basketball win against St. Francis Brooklyn. Roll it.
4.9 seconds on the clock, and Grisdale will go to the line. Fisher picks up her 4th foul. First free throw for Grisdale is good. Clean swish on that stroke. Now Caverly and Douglas will go in to aid a rebound if need be, but Grisdale drains 2 of 2. So 4.9 seconds. Alyssa Fisher quickly throws it over to Beloso. Beloso's got to shoot. She hits it as the clock expires, but too little, too late, and those were the clock issues we talked about. So Quinnipiac wins this one. Staying undefeated at home, the Bobcats secure a victory, 49-45.
Great call, guys. Now it's time for everyone's favorite time of the week, Final Roars. Keith, let's hear it.
The women's basketball team has 7 games through this season. I've been solid, but this team will be phenomenal when graduate guard Mackenzie DeWeese returns. I'm sitting here with 2 first-years that have not seen DeWeese play live in person. She is currently injured. We are not sure if she will return. But trust me, you will be entertained when the graduate guard is back in the court. The 2020-2021 MAC Play of the Year can't do it all. The 5'9" Maryland native was top 2 in scoring, assists, rebounds, and blocks for the Bobcats last season. This is her final dance, and she will lead this team to the top of the MAC when she returns. Beckett, Ben, and everyone else watching who's not watching Mackenzie DeWeese live in person yet, I highly recommend that you go check out this very special athlete when she returns.
After a fantastic weekend of home sporting events at Quinnipiac, I've had the...
And with that, this episode of Bobcat Breakdown is in the books. Be sure to check us out on Q30tv.com And go follow us on social media at Q30 Television. And download our app on all app stores. For Keith Savage and Ben Rickovicius, and for all the producers and everyone crushing it behind the scenes, I'm Beckett Calkins. Happy holidays from everyone in Q30 Sports, and thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next year.